Hey guys, it is me, Tanya, founder of the Team G Designs Group Limited. I hope you're all keeping safe and well. Now, in this particular video, we are going to be talking about how to brand yourself on social media. Yes, this is a thing, and yes, this is super important to be able to know and understand how to do so, simply because if you're wanting to make sure that you are connecting with the right kind of people, if you're wanting to make sure that you are actually drawing the attention of all those you actually will not only want to be working with, but equally want to be presenting yourself in front of, well, these are the key things that I'm about to share with you that will help you to do so. In order to be able to make better connections, in order to be able to stand out or even show up as you in a way that's congruent to your standards and beliefs, you need to address some key specific things, especially when it comes to understanding how to brand yourself on social media. Now, before we get all stuck into that, I want to make sure that not only do you do the things that I share with you, but equally you take action with them. And in order to be able to take action with them, you need to make sure that you tap into some key principles that I'm going to share with you at the very end of this video. Now, also make sure that you go ahead and actually like and subscribe to my channel, because I share content just like this. And I want to make sure that you are getting to grips with the idea of branding, because branding not only helps you to show up and stand out in a way that's congruent to your standards and beliefs, but equally also helps you to understand that, do you know what, you're more than what you see. Meaning that not only do we work on the surface level, but there's also some really cool golden nuggets below that surface level. When you understand that you are more than what you see, that below surface level stuff becomes all the more apparent. So let's get stuck into this video and let's establish what it means to be able to stand out as yourself on social media. As I said, we're going to be talking about how to brand yourself on social media. Now, key things that you probably wouldn't even think about doing, or maybe you have done but haven't even realized that you've been doing it. I want to make sure that, guess what, those things that you've probably haven't been realizing that you're doing are actually key things that you want to make sure that you continue doing. Now, what I'm trying to essentially say to yourself is to make sure that you keep the human in mind. And here's what I mean by that. When you are showing up on social media, you want to make sure by keeping the human in mind, you are tapping into the emotion side of you, right? And yeah, you don't have to get super deep with it. That's not what I'm saying. And I'm not saying that you got to share every single moment or increment of your life on social media with the world, with the masses. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is you can be human, or bring that human to it when it comes to showing up on social media, especially by way of your brand. So actually there's about 3 F's that I want you to really just tap into. Now, this first one is something that I actually like to call formative flaws. And what I mean by that is talking about your experience and the experience that you've had pertaining to the topic that you're actually going to be talking about on a specific post or video that you're going to be creating. But it's talking about the experience that you've had with a flaw in mind, meaning what went wrong. Okay, nobody's perfect. So now what you're trying to do is make sure that you're relating to your audience with this flaw. This flaw is how people will get to grips with, oh, do you know what? Okay, they aren't perfect either. You know, I can relate to that. I can make sure that this is giving me some kind of either nostalgic or commonality feel that I really can get to grips with. And that makes you then more approachable. Now, with your formative flaw, the experience that you've had where something didn't quite go right with the topic that you're actually talking about. And let me give you an example. For example, you might talk about, do you know what? There was a time in my life where I didn't always feel confident. And here's why. Simply because there were key things that I was trying. Key things that I was trying so much to the point where I was trying too hard. Have you ever felt a time in your life where you've been trying too hard and do you know what? Because of that, it just didn't work out. Now, I'm sure, I'm going to break out of that in a minute. I'm sure you can pick up a different kind of an example for yourself, but at least it gives you an idea as to how you can now move forwards with your formative flaw, right? Pick a time in your life where you didn't feel a specific thing based around the topic that you're talking about. Okay? That's the first F. The second F that I also want you to really tap into, and this is actually super key that you do tap into this, even if you feel that a little uncomfortable doing so. I'm talking about the feels. What's the emotion behind it, right? You need to be able to talk about the feels. You need to talk about the emotion behind it, because that's another element that will help your audience to start getting to grips with who you are specifically, but equally also help them to understand that, you know what, oh my gosh, they've been feeling the same thing too. Okay, so I'm not going crazy in my own mind. I'm not losing my head, right? I'm not losing my marbles. However you want to express that element, make sure that you do so in a way that is congruent to your standards and beliefs, number one, but also to the topic that you're actually talking about. So that example that I just shared with you, the way how it made me feel. It made me feel that I couldn't do anything. It made me feel that I couldn't achieve what I wanted to set out and achieve. It made me feel that, you know what, let me just duck in a corner and let me just rock away, and just let me hide from the world. How did it make you feel when you're talking about that specific topic? Now, this third thing is also very important when it comes to how you make sure that you're actually showing up as your brand, right? And I'm talking about the fact. Now, the fact in this particular sense is talking about the lesson learned. Now, going back to that example again that I shared with you at the beginning, think about when it comes to your idea, your topic, what did you learn from it? What was it that made you move forward? What was it that helped you to just keep going and to keep pushing and to keep moving more specifically rather than pushing, right? So if I go back to my example, the lesson learned there would be, do you know what? Not all the time will everything go right. However, there will be that time where something will go right. And having that level of resilience, having that level of persistence, and more specifically, having that level of support to help to make sure that you keep going and keep that drive moving forwards is what will help you to get the results that you're looking for. So, do you see what I've done there? Okay. Now, apply it to your topic. How can you make sure that with this fact, the lesson learned, how can you make sure that that lesson learned equally helps to drive the motivation within your audience? Because essentially, folks, anytime that you're putting something onto socials, whether it be for your own personal gain or as a personal brand or even as a business brand, you are always doing something in order to help others to move in some kind of a way. Even if you don't even think that you're doing that, you are actually helping others to move. So if you're now wanting to make sure that you're showing up as your brand, equally showing up as your brand or even with your brand on social media, this is how you do it. If you want to create some kind of a purpose behind what it is that you're doing, this is how you do it. So address those 3 F's. So your formative flaws, your feels, and then equally the facts, as in the lessons learned. And start seeing the difference in the type of engagement that you're going to be getting back now. And start seeing the difference in the way that you start showing up more specifically. The content that you're going to be creating is going to be all the more congruent to your standards and beliefs. And equally, more importantly, the content that you're going to be creating is going to feel all the more comfortable. It's not going to feel forced. It's going to feel direct, and it's going to feel like you've got the purpose now, backing it, pushing it forwards, and making sure that you're getting the results that you're actually looking for. So, on the note of making sure that you're getting the results that you're looking for, in order to be able to get the ideas of the topics in the first place, or in order to be able to understand how you show up as your brand in the first place, tap into my 6 key principles. They're going to help you to understand what your brand power of 3 should be, as in your vision, your purpose, and your values. They're also going to help you to understand how to make sure that with this content that you're now pushing out is now relative to your audience and actually starts building on those connections that you really, really do want to make, and with the people that you actually want to make them with. You're going to understand who to collaborate with. You're going to understand who to connect with. And you're going to understand how to make sure that the clients that you're reaching out to that will now be coming to you, you're going to understand how to make sure that you're actually building that relationship that is congruent, once again, to your standards and beliefs, builds on a reputation that actually stands true to you, and equally starts making sure that, you know what, yeah, this is the brand that I actually want to work with. People are going to now understand that even more. So make sure that you go ahead and get to grips with those key principles. Share your comments with me below this particular video. Make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel. And folks, I will see you on the other side.